All right, dude.
All right, today 100-mile review on the Turbo R.
Yeah.
So we're gonna ride first, then give you a review. This is our first time on the rocks. We got 35 Roxxzillas. We've got the SSS standalone rock sliders, UHMW rock sliders for the Pro R. So we can do a complete different video on the skids and the options for that. But
yeah,
awesome. Stay tuned.
All right, dude, 100-mile review.
All right, we're off Camber Industries. This is our 100-mile review of the RZR Turbo R. So if this is your first time watching, go check out some of our other content. We're out here in Sand Hollow a lot. We've spent a lot of time, well, me specifically, in Turbo S's. So this is going to be more of a Turbo S versus Turbo R review, because that's the experience I have.
Well, and the Turbo R replaced the Turbo S.
Exactly. So this is the replacement car for the Turbo S.
Right.
So I feel like that's a great comparison to make. Also, this is a Sand Hollow, Southern Utah type review. This isn't like, oh, we're going to give a review on, you know, Kentucky Mud Boys or whatever. We're West Coast. We're out here rock crawling. We got 35 Roxxzillas on and skid.
We're on sticky stuff. I mean, we're not on wet, slick mud stuff. So
first, I'll cover what we've actually done to the car. So it's got 35 Maxxis Roxxzillas. Those are the sticky or soft compound. I've got a DRT bumper, DRT hood. That's just extra 10 horse right there, quick and easy.
Absolutely.
I removed the front link on the sway bar, on the front sway bar.
Yeah.
I added these UHMW rock sliders from SSS Offroad. I did the cage. This is our off-camber edition cage. And I've got a Viper shifter in here. So performance-wise, I haven't really changed anything other than removing a sway bar, grabbing a shifter for quicker gears.
Let's not forget the
tires,
rear.
And I got the DRT trunk. So we'll do a full walk around once the machine's completely built. Give shout outs to different companies and things like that. But today I wanted to talk about the actual car, how it's performing.
All right, let's do kind of a pro and con.
Okay. So pro and con versus Turbo S. So it handles better at high speed. I think that mounting the front shock to the lower arm helped with handling, as well as this new toe link. As big of a pain in the butt it is for people developing high clearance options, it really does help track in the whoops. We'll attach a video.
And that's also kind of another Sand Hollow thing. I mean, a lot of sand guys and stuff, they don't really care about that high clearance as much.
Yeah, a lot of you guys aren't going to care, but if you're going to hang up on a rock in a longer car, that's one of the cons of this, is it's got an extra 9 inches over a Turbo S.
Yep, exactly.
Or 8 inches. Is this hangs down, and that's where you're going to hang up on ledges or boulders.
Yeah.
If you're going to hang up at all. Okay, so some pros. They geared it down. So I did around a 30 to 35% gear reduction in low in my Turbo S, and this has the exact same gear set as that in low.
So basically what you're saying, you can throw 35s on this thing and be good to go.
We didn't have to change it.
Yeah.
It felt the exact same as my gear reduced Turbo S, which was awesome.
Yeah.
We actually did a video of top 5 complaints of the Turbo S. That was one of them.
Yeah, and they fixed it.
One of the others was the seats. These seats are a lot better, a lot more secure than the old Turbo S or RZR XP seats. So the bases, everything, the whole interior, I'll just say, interior is better.
Yeah, I mean, even the center console that goes all the way up, there's that like gap before.
Yeah.
Just the whole thing is better on the interior.
It's finished.
Yeah.
So the seating position is a little bit lower and a little bit farther back, so the visibility is probably 10% worse.
Okay.
Just something to consider, but I actually am getting some HSP seats, and they're going to set me up in a little bit more upright, so I think I'll gain that back.
There you go. Okay.
So another pro of these versus previous models, so this is the Velocity Edition, the Turbo R Sport, so it doesn't have the live valve.
Yeah, so it's got Walker Evans.
Yeah, I wasn't real happy that Polaris decided to do a $7,500 upcharge from base to premium.
So that's a con.
Like, we were out here with Kawasaki the other day, and they had base package to top package with a winch, a stereo, and live valve, $2,500 difference.
Yep.
I feel like I'd pay $4,000 for it, but $7,500, you can do a lot to a RZR with $7,500.
Absolutely.
So anyway, they went to a dual rate on the springs. So before, they had the little squished upper spring, they had no crossover ring. They actually changed that up from user feedback. On the Pro XPs, I think people were complaining quite a bit.
Yeah.
They went to a dual rate.
So it's a true dual rate.
Yep.
Basically like what you did with when you swapped your Zebro springs.
Yep. And I'll probably still do a Zebros kit on here just to get it that much better.
Yeah.
I will say that the shocks performed better than I expected, being the base model Sport, because I had a Turbo S Velocity before, and it's certainly better.
No, you
than
had
that.
Dynamics before.
I had both.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, before I even hung out with you.
Oh. This is
Yeah.
pre-me.
I had 3 Turbo S's.
Okay.
So this is my, well, you can call it a Turbo S. But,
Yeah.
yeah, so it was better in the medium, higher speed stuff, like on the bigger bumps, but the smaller chop was still a little bit rigid, a little bit rougher than I would prefer, but it still exceeded expectations by a little bit in the slow stuff.
Okay.
Some of the cons, again, we kind of hit on this earlier. They didn't, actually, before I go back there, they didn't really beef up the tie rods. It's still the size of my finger here.
Yeah,
And when you're going this fast with this big of tires,
everything else is so beefed up. It's kind of weird they didn't do
it's
that.
really weird. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with the billet option, probably Zebros, or we'll see who comes out with stuff first.
Yeah.
But we talked about it a minute ago, is this trailing arm hangs down really low. So this is gonna be the point, usually right about here. Let's see if I hit it today. I didn't really hit it. I hit it a couple times right here. But basically from here to here is where you're gonna hit and hang up on rocks, and it's really hard for the aftermarket to design a higher clearance because this can't really be relocated.
Yep.
So at most, they're gonna be able to get about 2 inches.
Yeah.
And I think HCR just released a kit for their Pro R where it kind of goes through a little hole, and then it's got a little tiny sheet as thin as they could while still being strong to cover that on the bottom. So they gained about 2 inches, whereas before, if you got higher clearance on a Turbo S, you're getting 3+ inches out of it.
Yeah, so it'll be cool to see how that difference on the HCR kit of what they do there, but
yeah, so with that extra 8 inches plus not having as high a clearance option, that's going to be a con no matter what on these. But I'll tell you, with the extra travel today out on the rocks, when I kind of bellied out, the extra travel allowed the tires to stretch and reach the ground.
okay.
It's really weird. If you watch these or watch a Pro R and they get hung up, their tires just stretch.
They
They're
just
like a
keep
spider.
going.
They stretch and touch the ground, whereas before you're kind of turtling out.
Yeah.
These just stretch and they keep traction on the ground. So.
That makes a lot of sense. Do we know the difference of travel between this and that? The Turbo S, is it 4 or 5 inches?
I don't think it's quite that much. I think it's probably closer to 2 or 3, but
Okay.
we can look up the specs and throw them on the screen for the people. So yeah, that's a quick pros and cons. Again, stay tuned for a longer, more in-depth official review. This is us after having tested in the rocks, tested it at Coral Pink Sand Dunes, and then through some fast stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that's worth mentioning too is parts compatibility.
Oh yeah.
So between this, the Pro XP, the Pro R, there's a lot of confusion about what fits what's universal, what's not. So starting in the front, the cage is different. So
for all 3, right?
yeah, they're all 3 completely separate cages. The only difference on this versus the Pro XP is this front bum. The frame is bigger up here.
Okay.
They reversed the bum. So normally it was out here, and then the cage bum was on the inside. They reversed it, so you can't just swap a cage.
Okay.
So they have to have their own cage.
Yep.
Also exclusive to the Turbo R, you have to have a specific skid plate. Again,
Yes.
being that the front end is from a Pro R,
And the rear is a Pro
rear is
XP.
a Pro XP, you got to have your own specific skid plate. But these rock sliders from SSS are universal between the three.
Just the rock
Just the
sliders,
rock
not the
sliders.
full skid, but the
Full
rock
skid
sliders.
is separate.
Yeah.
If you get the standalones, they're universal.
So if we can see it, maybe we can show this underneath. But basically it ends. Let's see if you guys can see that right there. So that's it. So that's not the full skid.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wanted to test those as a standalone. I'll be putting the full skid on soon.
Yeah.
Okay, other things. Right here, this front bumper, I assumed that I could just get a Pro XP one. No, this is the same as a Pro R. Because the front end of the frame, I guess.
Somehow a little different.
Yeah.
With the suspension and whatnot, yeah.
So yeah, just think everything from here forward is going to be Pro R, and then here back is going to be Pro XP, and everything for the whole car is Turbo R specific. So going to the back, one thing to mention back here is the bed is essentially the same between the Pro R, the Turbo R, and the Pro XP, except for the Pro R with the bigger engine. They had to raise the inside of the bed so it's not as deep.
Oh.
So even this trunk had to be specific to the Pro XP and Turbo R. The Pro R, the mounts are a little bit shallower to allow that to still fit and hook up.
That's so confusing.
Yeah. Obviously the exhaust and everything is the same as the Pro XP.
Yeah.
Same engine and everything like that.
But the difference between this, you were just saying a minute ago, is that this has a liquid cooled turbo.
Yeah. So the difference in performance between this and a Turbo S is it's got an extra, what is it, 13 horsepower.
Something like that,
Which
yeah.
basically just comes from a tune because it's the same engine. I think the turbo might be a little bit bigger, but it's water cooled.
Right.
So I did notice that it was running very cool today. I didn't see temps over 200, and it's probably 105 right now.
It's hot.
So just so you guys know, we're doing this for you. Doing it for the people.
It's
really hot. Black shirt, pants, bad decisions.
Yeah, I don't know what you were thinking.
But yeah, performance-wise, it probably felt a little bit faster than the Turbo S. It might just be in my head. I don't know. I didn't race them.
Yeah.
So, but overall, I love this thing so far. I would probably not buy another Turbo S after having owned this.
Okay.
And it's kind of tough to say because my last one was built to the gills. I mean, it had everything I ever wanted or needed.
It did.
And it was real plush and cushy seats and springs and everything. But I think once I get this one up to that level of aftermarket, I think it's going to exceed those expectations.
Wrap it up, dude. It's hot. Let's go.
So to wrap it up, overall great platform. One thing to consider is parts are a little bit hard to get. Specifically anything for suspension, you know, with COVID delays and shutdowns, manufacturing as a whole has been ridiculous. People are backed up, but now throwing brand new stuff they got to build on top of that while they're trying to source the old stuff is just a mess for everybody. So be patient with vendors.
Yeah.
I just want to share that because if you talk to them, they're having a hard time. So
they're trying.
Suspension and wheels specifically, those are the things that are brand new that are hard to source right now.
Yeah.
So be patient, plan ahead.
Yeah.
That's all I got, but overall, great option.
All right.
Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of Pro R content on the channel, so if you haven't already, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Please do so. Yep.
Thanks.
See ya.